friends, welcome back to my channel. Sass here. I'm here to do another review of Love After Lockup. The season finale is next week, and good, because I cannot wait until next season. Are they gonna bring back some old schoolers? Let's get into the review. Alright. First, let's talk about John B. Jr. and Glorietta. Now, as we seen last week, okay, John B. Jr. wanted to know why Glorietta loved him. He wanted to know that Glorietta just wanted to be with him because of his hot body, his tattoos, his mind. See, John B. Jr. has seen his ex-girlfriend, the brown honey. He done lost his mind. He done lost his mind, so he need a reason. So, he didn't even come home to Glorietta. He stayed with his friend. Alright, so Glorietta is at a car show, earning extra money for their wedding. So John B. Jr., all 4'10" of him, goes to her workplace with the 2 sizes too small beanie on. Did y'all see that boy's hat? I just wanted to snatch it. I said, John B. Jr., why you got that little boy's kid hat on? You look real dumb. You look real special. So, he goes up in there. She goes up to him. She hugs him. She was like, oh, hey. How are you? Hey. Even though he didn't spend the night at her house. He didn't lay her head on her pillow. He's somewhere else. And she's all smiling and hugging him. She was like, I don't even know where he stayed last night. Why you hugging him then? So, John B. Jr. right off the bat. I still want to talk about last night. I want to know why you love me. Because I feel like you love me because of my body. Because of my tattoos. Because of my mind. That's what John B. Jr. is saying to Gloria on her job. Now, John B. Jr., why don't you have the same force, swollen chest, into going into a unemployment office, filling out an application? You showing up at your girl's job, cutting and acting a fool. Child, I would have gave him a hard cussing out job. You gonna come up in my job that I'm trying to earn extra money for, cutting the shirt, asking me why I love you. So of course Glorietta, she was like, I don't even know where this is coming from. Okay, I love you. I want to be with you. Okay, I love you for your body. I love you for your tattoos. I love you for your mind. And he come talking about, no. I don't think that's genuine. That has to be the dumbest fight I have ever seen. Okay, instead of John B. Jr. just telling her, look, I met up with my ex-girlfriend. And, you know, I still have feelings for her. I really don't know where my head is at. You know, we need to pump the brakes on this relationship. He's having a temper tantrum. He needs a reason. Child, I would have gave him a reason up at that car show. Honey, he would have left me on that spot because, honey, I would have took one of them cars and I would have smashed his head upside. And that's that on that. As we see next week, honey, Mama Glorietta done had enough. Honey, she up there fighting them, throwing water. Honey, they throwing blows. John B. Jr. need to sit down somewhere. Get a job. Write some music. Now, he walks out thinking that he has accomplished something. Glorietta is upset. She's confused. She said, I don't even know what's going on. Why is he acting like this? Why is he questioning my love for him? Child, Glorietta, exactly. Exactly. Let's move on. Alright, let's make this quick. Lizzie and Daniel. Alright, Daniel, he proposed to Lizzie with the ring that his mama bought him. Now, his mama thought that it was a promise ring. Daniel said, oh no, okay, you paid a whole $10 for an engagement ring. Plastic. Okay, so, him and Lizzie are going back to the house. And so they're like, listen, we don't need to tell our mama this, okay? We don't need to make a big production out of this. So let's not say anything. Let's keep our mouth shut. So when they rolled up to the home, honey, Daniel's mama had every family member known to man working. They are digging, they are shoveling some gravels. I don't know what they were doing. So, of course, Liz and Daniel was like, uh-oh. What is with all these people here? So they get out of the car. Now they already done made the pact of, we're not going to tell Mama we're engaged. Okay? Because Mama think this is a promise ring. So Daniel's mom, she was like, excited. She was like, okay, so what was her reaction? What did she say to the promise ring? She was excited. Daniel immediately gets on the defensive. Okay? He was like, I gave it to her, Ma. I gave it to her. No big deal. She liked it. So what? Even though the mama paid for it. Just the disrespect. Okay? So he goes into this full-blown tantrum, and Mom was like, you ain't got to bite my head off. I'm just asking, how did she like the ring? And so then all of a sudden he was like, you know what? That's it. You know what? Forget it. It was not a promise ring. It was an engagement ring. I asked Lizzie to marry me. Honey, Mama Daniel was like, mouth thrown open, eyes wide open. She was like, what? Are you serious? And he was like, yeah, we are engaged. Okay. Now, Daniel's mama do not like Lizzie, but she's tolerating Lizzie because Daniel says that he loves her. So, Daniel's mama got over it. She said that she was in a little bit of shock. She thought it was a promise ring, it was an engagement ring, and she ends up, hugging Lizzie. Let's move on, okay? All right, now let's talk about Amber and Vincent. Now, as we know, Amber is on her way to Indiana to visit her family, and I will say, that little neighborhood that her family lives in, beautiful. Very cookie cutter, very nice, okay? So they show up, all right? Her family is excited to see her. It was her brother, her sister, her grandma who raised her because she says that her father was an alcoholic and her mother was on drugs. So her grandma was the one that raised her, okay? Now, her family looks very nice. It was tears. It was excitement. They hadn't seen her in 5 years, so they was excited to see Amber. Amber starts introducing Vincent. Honey, did y'all see Amber's sister's face when she went in for that hug? Honey, Amber's sister was like, that's a no for me. Vincent, he was excited too. He was excited to see Amber's family because he says he loves Amber. He wants this to work. Now, it's not going as planned, but he hoped, seeing her family, seeing this side of her, it may break down a little bit and they can become, even closer. Even though Amber is having a hard time with it because we know she ain't nothing but lies, honey. Her, Puppy, and her mama, they'll come up with this scheme to, use and abuse and fraud and con Vincent. So, we have Amber, and I thought it was, and I love this moment that she had with her sisters and brothers. And they were crying, and her sister looked at her and said, this is it, okay? We have stood by you before, and you have let us down. This will be the last time, okay? You have nieces and nephews who wants to see you, who wants to spend time with their aunt, and she up there locked up. And Amber, she got emotional too, and Amber says, yes, I realize that I have messed up, and I am never, ever going back to prison. She says, I messed up. I learned from it. Being around my family has helped me. And she was like, that's it. Okay. I am not going back to prison. Even though she's in a full lying con job with Puppy and her mama. Her mom calls and her grandma says, Vincent, he seems like he's a pretty nice guy. Vincent had on a full-blown conversation with Puppy's family, her grandma. Honey, Vincent got to all choked up. He was about to cry. I said, Lord have mercy. Vincent is literally sitting here crying. And honey, this girl don't love him. A mess. A mess. Amber also tells us that she's tired of lying and that she has to come clean. So, I guess next week she is going to tell Vincent the real deal Holyfield. Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's talk about the Trio of Fools 2.0. This won't take long. Alright, Lacey and Shane are at a bakery. Alright, as you know, Lacey, she chose Shane over John. So they're at a bakery and they're having a beach-themed wedding. They will be getting married in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they get married. Okay, so they're looking at, different kind of cake. Shane is putting in all kinds of input. He has a lot to say, honey. He can talk about the cake, a beach-themed cake. It has seashells, seahorses, beach balloons, beach umbrellas. Honey, he added all kinds of stuff. Sand, different color water. And I'm like, he can. Because, honey, he ain't got no job. So who's paying for all this? I'm assuming Lacey and her family. Okay? Where's Shane's family at? But anyway, we digress. And so Lacey was like, oh my God, he has a lot to say about cake. When did he become a cake expert? All right? He turned into a groomzilla. And so Shane let us know that in prison, honey, there's a whole lot of things going on in prison. Honey, they know about cakes, cookies, pies. They got a whole bakery going on in that prison. So they are tasting different cakes, and they're saying that they like this, they're saying that they like that. He's not a big fan of red velvet, all this and that. Okay, so she goes and sees John. All right, she didn't tell Shane that she was going to see John, but she's going to see John to let him know that they need to take a paternity test to see if Marlo is his child. So she pulls up with her boobs hanging out and her lips 3 sizes too big for her face, okay? So John was like, what's up? Okay, so he must be, I think he works on air conditions, or his family is in the air conditioning business. Anyway, so Lacey was like, what's up? And he was like, oh, you look good. And she was like, listen, I'm going to need for you to take his paternity test to see if Marlo is yours. And as we know, John is cool with it. In fact, he wants Marlo to be his kid because he says that Marlo is a cool kid and he will step up to the plate. And of course, he will spend more time with Lacey. 18 years. 18 years. So they started talking. And so Lacey was like, I'm just going to tell you, me and Shane is getting married in 2 weeks. Honey, John was like, honey, that hurt John. I really do believe that John loves Lacey. I think he loves this woman. But hey, all right, she tells him that her and Shane is getting married in 2 weeks. And he was like, what is this about this Shane? You are making a huge mistake. Don't marry him. He done called Shane a backstreet boy. He said Shane's a loser. He has nothing going for him. I have something going for me. Okay, I'm willing to step up to the plate and be a father to Marlo if he's mine. So, Lacey, she was like, listen, I'm leaving, okay? I will let you know the results of the paternity test, 2 business days, and I'm out. So, as she was leaving, he was leaning into the car, and he was like, can I get a kiss? And she was like, no, you ain't getting no kiss. That is not appropriate. But I'm thinking to myself, Lacey, do you really not want to give John a kiss? I say this, out of Shane and John, I would probably pick John over Shane. Shane seems a little slow. I know that's awful, y'all, but I would definitely pick John over Shane. So we'll see what happens next week at this wedding. All right, let's move on. All right, we have Snaggletooth and Tony. So we have Angela. She's bringing Tony back to her house. She says, come on in, baby. So they sit down on the couch and they have a full-blown conversation about Michelle. Now, Michelle is the woman that Tony was involved with that he met at the hotel. So Tony tells a story that he met Michelle at the hotel and they did go play basketball. But instead of him going to the halfway house, he takes Michelle back to the motel. They get it on, and he didn't return to the halfway house. And so Angela was like, has there been any more Michelles? And he was like, no, it was just one Michelle, one incident. I promise you that. And she was like, well, I read the text. It didn't seem like it was one incident and one Michelle. He was like, no, I'm telling you what's up. It was just that one time. So, they did a little kissy, huggy, because Tony said, I want you. You look good. I was like, oh. And child, the next morning when they woke up and they were kissing each other, ooh, I could smell their breath through my TV. I was like, fast forward, nope, change the channel, no sir, no ma'am. Okay, of course Angela, she finally got some of Tony. Okay, no steak involved. And they both said that it was magical, whatever. So they go outside and she shows Tony the motorcycle that she bought him. She says this is something that you can use to go back and forth to work. I was like, Tony got a job? He just got out of jail. Where he work at? So she said to get back and forth to work, and somebody said on Twitter that the motorcycle cost more than that trailer. Boy, I tell you, some people are ruthless. Y'all do know hell is hot, right? Let me move on. So, they're inside the trailer, and of course, Angela, she brings up, you know, him being in prison, him lying to her, Michelle, and so Tony pumped the brakes. He said, listen here. He says, I'm not going to be sitting here this whole time and you keep bringing up the past. I've already done explained this to you. I'm not going to keep talking to you. And he says, how about the sacrifices I've made? And she said, excuse me? She said, what sacrifices have you made? I was thinking to myself, please, Tony, enlighten us. What sacrifices have you made? He says that he's done brought some sacrifices. He said that he's going to help with the bills. He says that he's going to give her good loving each night. He was like, I don't want to be, you know, bitched to every night. Okay? I could go to California in 2 to 3 months and have my own place set up. And I was like, well, why don't you? You're the one that begged, called Angela 8, 12, 50 times a day. You asked to be paroled out at her house. And now you talking about sacrifices? See, you done got a little cocky. See, Angela, you see what you did? Honey, you done got this fool a motorcycle. You done fed him. You done gave him a roof over his head, a motorcycle, and now he cocky. And you sitting up there looking like who done it what for? Child, Angela, a fool. Mental health therapist. And then he had the nerve to say, listen, I'm going to give it three months. But if she keeps bringing this up, she keeps running that mouth, I may have to consider something different. See, Tony already looking for an exit. He needed somewhere to lay his head. He's already looking for an exit. Whew, Tony. Let's move on. All right, last and least, let's talk about Cheryl and Josh. All right, Cheryl. She is still in Colorado. I don't know how in the world she has that much time from work, but kudos to her. So her sister, Lacey, comes to visit. Now, we know Lacey. Honey, Lacey is about it, honey, that mouth, all right? She's also a correctional officer, and she don't like Josh. Ain't never met Josh, but she already know that she don't like Josh because he was an inmate. He was a convict. So Lacey, she gets there, and her and Cheryl's talking, and Lacey was like, well, what's going on here? Okay, how do you know that Josh is on the up and up? All right, is he working? What is he doing? Yeah, he works for a roofer. He's a roofer. And so Lacey was like, well, has he made any money? Cheryl was like, no. You know, he gets paid bi-weekly, and he hasn't gotten a check yet. You know, he should get a check at the end of the month. And so Lacey's like, okay. Now, let me stop right there. Lacey should be like, okay, well, at least he got a job. She didn't even say that, honey. She didn't care nothing about that roof. Honey, she was hoping that Josh would have fell off of the roof. So here comes Cheryl, talking about that it cost a lot for her to stay in that hotel. Okay, she's paying money for that hotel. She is sending money back to her parents because her parents has her 3 children while she is there with Josh. Cheryl, if you don't take your butt home and go to work, when are you going home with your kids? kids. Instead of you wasting money in a hotel being with Josh, you could be home at work saving up your money instead of wasting it at the hotel and giving it to your parents. Go home, Cheryl. That's what you do. I still don't understand why she's still there. Why is she still there? So anyway, so of course Lacey brings that up. And she was like, well, look at the money that you're wasting on this guy. Okay, I am truly worried. You don't look happy. Okay, but you are, wasting everything in your life with this guy, Josh. And so Lacey was like, listen, you ain't gonna be too many more convicts. Okay, this is a guy I love. Just be easy on him, okay? So they go out to eat, all right? And so it's Lacey and there's Cheryl. And Cheryl was like, be nice to him. And so Lacey said no. I was like, oh, God. Lacey was like, I don't like you. So Josh, he shows up and he was like, hey, how you doing? And so Cheryl introduces him. And so Lacey, right off the bat, said, you paying for this? I was like, Lord have mercy. And so he was like, yeah, I'll pay for it. You want the $50 plate? You gonna get that? She said, I sure am. I sure am. And I was like, oh, Lord. So Lacey, she goes in. She asked Josh, why was he in prison? He says, well, I've been in prison 3 times. She says, well, what did you do? He says, well, I robbed a bank. And she was like, well, that's it? And he was like, well, that's not enough. Okay, so they're going back and forth. Lacey, bottom line is, she don't like Josh because she is a correctional officer. And she has seen inmates use girls, okay? They write letters and they call several girls on the outside for them to send money, to manipulate, to lie. But of course, Cheryl said that Josh, he's not like that. He is different. So Lacey was like, I've done heard it. I've done seen it. Josh is no good. So of course, they have words at the table. Lacey gets upset. She walks off. And so Lacey was like, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not going to have her talk trash about you. Now here comes the food. The food looks delicious. So Lacey, she goes outside. And then we see Cheryl outside, and we see Josh outside. I said, what happened to the food? I said, honey, y'all are wasteful. Wasteful. But later on, we see Josh with a to-go box, and he was sucking down some soda. So, all kinds of food on the table. I said, daggone. I would have tore that food up. Okay, so anyway. So Lacey and Cheryl, they're outside arguing with each other. And Cheryl is saying, listen, do you not remember? I'm not perfect. Okay? I was a hot mess too. When I was 14, I started drinking. I became a stripper. I started doing cocaine. I started doing pills. But I turned my life around. I made my life better. Why don't you think that Josh can do the same thing? Ain't none of us perfect. And so Lacey said, look, I'm tired of this, okay? I'm taking my feet to the street. I'm going home. I'm sick of it, okay? So she takes off her microphone and she's giving it to the producer. She's sitting in somebody's van. And she was like, listen, my sister look real pathetic right now. She is literally changing her whole life for this guy. For this Josh. And she says, it's pathetic. She said, this ain't even who I thought my sister was. I'm a correctional officer. My mom is a correctional officer. Here she is with the convict. We know that she's going to get hurt. Now, let me just stop right there. Okay. I see where Lacey's going. And I see what she's saying. Okay. Who wants their sister with a convict? Okay. It may be hard. But your sister's 30 years old with 3 kids. Okay? If that's the life that she wants, so be it. What else you going to do about it? Do you think I'm going to be in the parking lot of a restaurant instead of eating that good, delicious food, screaming at my 30-year-old sister about the right and wrongs of her life? Absolutely not. I have never, ever gotten involved in my sister's love life. Never. And I won't. Because first of all, they're grown. They can do whatever they want to do. Okay? If they get hurt, they get hurt. We've all been there. Okay? But if I told you one time that this boy or man ain't right, and you chose to be with him, don't come to me crying. Don't do it. So, Cheryl, she is having a full-blown mental breakdown. Honey, she is screaming. She is yelling. Did y'all see them veins busting out her neck? I said, child, Cheryl is on one, okay? Now, we already know Cheryl ain't quite right. Okay, something wrong with Cheryl. So, her having it out with Lacey is not a good thing, all right? I definitely think that Cheryl needs to take her butt home, okay? She needs to go home. Period. So anyway, that's it, guys. What do y'all think about this episode? Let's talk about it down below. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And until next week, friends, bye.